Margaret Nanning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Josephine Lalwan. She started her blog called Chic at Any Age about 7 years ago, and her intention was to offer mature women a way of feeling stylish and chic at any age, and to wear whatever clothes they loved that suited their personality. So, welcome, Josephine.
Thank you very much, Margaret. It's a privilege to be on your site. I love your site. I think it's a great resource for women of more mature years, shall we say.
Well, thank you. I mean, I honestly, and I love your site, so it's a great match. We reach about 450,000 women now all around the world.
Wow.
And we've got a very large Facebook group, which is super interested in fashion and beauty. And it's one of those great myths, I think, of older women that we don't care. Because we do, or a lot do.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely we care.
So your blog, Chic at Any Age, you started that to really help women of any age look as great as they felt and to keep that stylish, chic look. I want you to tell me, though, what do you mean by chic?
Well, I guess I use the word because we spend some time in France now, and there's a sort of a concept, I suppose one could say, that French women are chic. I've always worked in fashion or been connected with fashion, and often with French fashion. So I guess along the way, I may have picked up some hints and tips about how French women look chic. And ideally, I'll pass them on to my readers.
It's kind of one of those words. It's like a word that embodies a lot of things. Like, I love the word bohemian. Like when you say that word, you just get images and colors, and chic is the same. So anyway, but it's a great cause. So let's talk about one thing that's definitely on our people's minds, which is, shopping and buying clothes on a budget. I think a lot of older women, they just have a little money to spend. So
it's a good one.
Give us some tips on this. Now, I mean, I know, of course, budget's relative to one person. Little money is literally nothing. But what are the basic things you think every woman should have in their wardrobe on a budget?
Well, I've certainly had times in my life when I'm on a very small budget. Things go up and down in one's life. So what I found really, really helped was if you can spend the most amount of money on something like a jacket or a coat, because tailoring is really important. It needs to fit you properly. Now, I used to do lots of things like I'd go to the nearest secondhand shop, consignment shop, charity shop. I mean, they're great resources, especially if you live in an area which is a little bit more upmarket. You can find or go to areas a little bit more upmarket. You can find some amazing bargains. It is time consuming, but I found some great buys there. So I think if you get the basics like your coat, your jacket, well tailored, I think you can buy, say, cheaper tops, ring the changes, different colored tops. You can get those quite cheaply at some of the, main stores.
Well, no, I think this is a really good point, though. I think, and maybe there's a step even before that, which is knowing what your style is, like knowing what your body shape is. Because when you go into a shop, like a consignment shop, for example, you may get a great fabric, but it's just not the right shape for your body, for your shape of your body.
Oh, yeah, it's very important to know yourself, really. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on. But I mean, if you're pear-shaped, if you're rounder, all of that stuff. The other trick is invest in a good dressmaker or alterations lady, or the local dry cleaners often have this service.
Right.
Because fit is everything. You can buy quite a reasonably priced garment, but if you get it tailored, if you're good at doing it yourself and sewing yourself, fantastic. It'll fit and it'll look $1 million.
Yeah, people always say I can't afford a tailor, but I think what you're just saying is you can buy the actual item at a bargain, but make sure that it fits you. That's where you should. And that's, I think, a mindset, isn't it? That's a good tip.
It is.
Yeah. And the thing I think a lot of people do forget, too, is to have fun with fashion on a budget. So tell me some stories about things you found that have been inexpensive, that have really accented a basic wardrobe.
Well, I remember once a long time ago, I found a Diana von Furstenberg wrap dress in a second hand. I was just like, oh my God, that's so amazing. It does take an eye and it does take some practice, and it certainly takes time because you have to go back again and again. It's not just, there for you. But that was I've had some handbags, you can get some really good quality leather handbags in a secondhand or a charity shop.
Yes. You're lucky in the UK. You have lots of great charity shops. Almost some high streets have got them one, a couple of three.
Oh, we got them. We got so many in our little village. We got about 3. I mean, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But I suppose not everybody has the access to that. But nowadays with the internet, you can look for great, sales online. Sometimes you subscribe, they send you emails. Again, you can get a lot of emails, but if you sift through them, you can just find that one thing that might work for you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we've got more resources, I think, nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one thing you mentioned on your blog, I was reading that you love to get magazines. When you go to Paris, you pick up a magazine and you can get great ideas of these very beautiful fashion, $1,000 dresses, but you get the basic idea of the shape and the color, and then you go hunting for it and do the best you can to match it.
Yes, and if you're good at dressmaking, which I used to be way back, then, that's great. Copy, Yeah. Accessories are also a great way. You can buy some really cost price accessories. I mean, I'm lucky because in France, the Saint-Tropez market, I mean, you're talking €5, €10, but you may have a market in your town or somewhere like that.
So you've got to be, if you're on a budget, I mean, this is in general, if you're on a budget, you've got to be a good shopper. You've got to look for the bargains.
You have got to have an eye. It takes a little practice, but it is worth it. You will find them. You'll find the little treasures that are just right for you.
And it's really funny. I wore this top specifically for this reason today, because this little top, I don't know whether you can see that it's got really pretty little beads.
Sparkly.
It's really lovely. I bought this at Portobello Market.
There you go.
When I lived in Notting Hill about 3 years ago, and I was walking, and it wasn't even on a market stall. It was on the one where you have to dig in.
Yes.
Where there's a big pile of clothes and you just dig in. And I don't know about you, but I went for the color first. I thought, whatever that is, I want it. It doesn't matter whether it's a scarf or whatever. And I dug deep and found it. And I wear this thing. I mean, honestly, I wear it more than any other top. And it was like £5, I think.
Yeah,
it was crazy. So that's a good idea. So we've got know your body type, know your charity shops or garage sales in the United States.
Yes.
Know what basic items. You said a coat. Is there any other basic?
Well, no, you don't have to have a jacket. If you've got a more casual lifestyle, you wouldn't need a jacket. But I do think everybody needs a coat, certainly in this climate. I suppose if you live in a very hot climate, you might not, but then, a light linen or something like that. It depends whether you like dresses, skirts or trousers. That's more about putting your wardrobe together. But again, just even one good pair of well-cut trousers will stand you in good stead, or a skirt if you prefer. Dresses I find a little bit easier. Again, you can add a belt if that works for you. You can add lots of jewelry to liven it up. You can find some fun colors. You don't need a lot. I mean, I went to Paris 2 days, and I went with a backpack, a rucksack, and that's all I took. And the hotel, they went, "Where's your luggage?" And I went, "It's here." You don't need a lot, but I took jewelry, I took change of shoes, I took lots of scarves, just ring the changes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, though, is to have those basic things that you feel good in, because once you feel good, then it doesn't matter really how you accentuate. It's like you're grounded in yourself. And then you can just, as a bargain shopper, it doesn't matter whether it's a £1 or $1 scarf or a $50 scarf. You just feel right in it. So I know your colors, I guess.
Oh, it's very important to know. I mean, I used to work as a color consultant, so I guess, I'm kind of okay with that one. I mean, you can go to a color consultant, but there are little tricks and ways of, finding which colors work for you if you don't want to go to a professional.
What are those tricks? What would you say?
Well, I think when we get to our age, we probably have a little idea about, if you put a color on, you feel good in it. If you look in the mirror, it makes you look a little more healthy, or it drains you. You can actually go to the makeup section of a department store, and if you choose a really warm orange tone, rusty colored lipstick, try that on, looking closely in the mirror, then go the other end of the spectrum, which is a really blue, pinky colored lipstick, and try that on, and make it extreme so that you go, that one's really hideous. That one's not so good because it's too bright, but it's not so hideous. And then you work back in till you find the lipstick works for you. And that's a very good indication of which direction you might be going, warm or cool.
That's a good idea, actually, and also to remind people that their body tone has a natural tone to it. Like my lips, and it looks like yours are blue to start with.
Absolutely,
so
exactly.
Maybe that's a little tip as to the direction that
Definitely.
you got. And by the way, the color you've got on is fabulous. I mean, is that an on-trend color? It looks beautiful on you.
It's a very dark grey day in London, and I wanted a colour that lifted my spirits. I mean, it really is one of them, I don't think it's the nights sort of, the daylight's happened. Yeah, I'm waiting. So I think especially at this time of year, I like to wear something a little bit brighter, a little bit more flattering, because you haven't got that light sort of tan or whatever you have in the summer. Our skin can look quite pale and quite drained. And it's a busy time of year. Often we're a bit tired. So wear a colour, your most flattering colour.
Do we started talking at the beginning of this interview about budget shopping. And I'm really happy that we've kind of gone a little bit around, because really what we've discussed is that budget shopping is a state of mind. Really, what's important is that you recognize what your budget is, but then do all the things that we've talked about in terms of buying some little jewelry pieces or some scarves. And there are very inexpensive places to buy these, even the pound shops and some of those places, if you're really, and you just, you wear them with that inner glow, and you're stylish and chic.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've got a well-fitting, dress, skirt, trouser, whatever it is, basic, simple top. I mean, I personally tend to go for the classics and the plainer. That's just my style. So it makes it a little easier to jazz it up with jewelry. But even if you have a slightly more flamboyant style, you can still work. You can go on the ethnic. You can go on Etsy. What's it?
Etsy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Etsy.
You find some great stuff there.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to remember is that one person's jewel is another person's garbage. So go to the recycling places. Go, like you said, go to the charity shops or the garage sales, and just keep an open mind. I think you've said it on your website. It's a great site, by the way. It's for everyone. It's chicatanyage.com.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Yes.
And it's got lots of great inspirational ideas. And what I love too is you show the items, you show things like in a sort of set, like the top, the bottom, bag, jewels. You show a whole assortment of
like
things.
a collage. Yes,
collage, that's the word.
Yeah, I put collages. I mean, I don't have an enormous wardrobe. I don't really want an enormous wardrobe. So, I like to, and obviously my figure is actually quite pear-shaped. So I want to expand it out for women who have other shapes. Therefore, I put collages together to give people more choice.
But it helps. So go look at the collages, and then just get the budget number around that set, and then just buy what you can of the basics, and then have fun with the rest.
Absolutely. And even if I see something online or whatever, and I've just done it now, I've got a great winter coat, I watch it. I sort of stalk it and see when it gets reduced in the sale.
Yeah.
You've got to be quick because your size might sell out. But I mean, I do a lot of that, waiting for it to be reduced.
I've done that before too. But I think that by the time you get to be 50, 60 years old, you pretty much know what looks good on you.
Yes.
I mean, I know that capes and ponchos and wraps look nice on me and that I feel good in them. So I don't even bother looking at the more tailored coats, because that's just not for me. I know I wouldn't be comfortable, or it wouldn't be me. But give me a nice shawl or a cape or something that wraps around. Then I'm looking for a nice color or for the price. Then it becomes easier.
Yeah, I think I knew what I wanted coat-wise, because I'd gone into quite tunics this year. I just thought they're on trend and they work for my figure shape, so I've got a couple of tunics. But then with my coats and my jackets, the tunic was showing below the coat or jacket, and some of my coats were quite old anyway. Yeah. So I knew the length I wanted, I knew the style I wanted, and I just watched it. And then it's fitted into my wardrobe really well, because it solved that particular issue.
It's real. And well, of course, you're the expert at this. You know what you're looking for. You're a very wise shopper. But I think that's maybe the bottom line advice on this budget talk, is to just be a wise shopper. Know yourself, know your style, and then have fun.
And plan.
Yeah.
Plan. Really, people plan for all kinds of things, but they often don't plan for, their wardrobe or their next major purchase. They just go, I like that. And it may work or it may not. And there's nothing wrong with the few impulse buys, but I think you need to get the basics right first.
Okay. I've made notes. Thank you so much. This has been really helpful. We're going to do some other videos on different topics today. So thank you for being here, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our 60andMe YouTube channel, and also visit our website. We are a strong and dynamic community of women over 60. We're challenging aging stereotypes, and every day we share fascinating stories, interesting questions, and great conversation.